weeks, officials in Washington and Baghdad had tried to project calm around one of the most sensitive military zones in Iraq. It is a place wrapped in layers of security, watched constantly, and positioned beside one of the country's most important aviation hubs. But before dawn on Monday, that image of control was shaken again. A sudden rocket barrage tore into the Baghdad airport military complex, hitting the Mohammed Allah Air Base near Baghdad International Airport. The impact destroyed an aircraft on the ground, triggered flames inside the compound, and sent a fresh signal that even the most heavily protected zones in Iraq remain exposed as the wider regional confrontation deepens. What matters most tonight is this: the strongest confirmed reporting does not support the most dramatic version of the story now racing across social media. Iraq's defense ministry has confirmed that an aircraft was destroyed, but it has not said a U.S. Special Forces aircraft was lost. Reuters reported only that an aircraft was destroyed, while another report carried by app described it as an Antonov 132 belonging to the Iraqi Air Force. No casualties were reported. That distinction is critical because in a moment like this, the line between verified fact and viral exaggeration can disappear in minutes. According to Iraq's defense ministry, the Mohammed Allah Air Base, located beside Baghdad International Airport, was struck in the early hours of Monday by rockets. The ministry said the strike destroyed an aircraft and that authorities were still assessing the damage while trying to determine where the rockets were launched from. Reuters' report was brief, direct, and notable for what it did not claim. There was no official confirmation of U.S. casualties, no official confirmation of a U.S. aircraft loss, and no public evidence from Iraqi authorities that an American special operations platform had been incinerated, as some headlines suggested. A separate report citing Iraq's defense ministry and app details said the rockets were 122 mm Grad rounds fired from the outskirts of Baghdad, and that the destroyed aircraft was an Antonov 132 used by the Iraqi Air Force. That same reporting also noted that rockets fell inside the diplomatic support center in the airport zone, causing a fire. This is important because the Baghdad airport complex is not a simple single-use space. It is a layered security zone that includes Iraqi military facilities, sensitive aviation infrastructure, and U.S.-linked diplomatic and logistic support areas. So the real story may be less cinematic than the headline, but strategically it may be even more important. Because if rockets can reach this compound again, then the broader message is unmistakable. Armed groups operating in and around Iraq still retain the ability to threaten one of the most politically sensitive corridors in the country. This is not just about one burning aircraft. It is about the erosion of deterrence in a space where Iraqi sovereignty, U.S. military posture, and regional militia pressure now collide almost daily. The Mohammed Allah base sits beside Baghdad International Airport, one of the most symbolically loaded locations in modern Iraqi security politics. It is a zone that has long represented the overlap between Iraqi state authority and American strategic presence. Even when the target is technically Iraqi, the message can still be aimed at Washington. And that is exactly why Monday's strike matters far beyond the physical damage. For Iraqi officials, the immediate priority is obvious: secure the site, investigate the launch point, and prevent a rapid cycle of retaliation that drags Baghdad deeper into a confrontation it has repeatedly tried to avoid. Iraq's government has spent months trying to keep its territory from becoming a permanent battlefield in the expanding regional crisis. But the geography of the current confrontation makes that almost impossible. Pro-Iran factions have repeatedly signaled that U.S. facilities, support hubs, and partner infrastructure across Iraq remain vulnerable if the broader confrontation with Tehran continues, and that wider confrontation is already intense. Since late February, the region has been pulled into a sustained multi-front military crisis involving U.S. and Israeli operations against Iranian targets, followed by retaliatory pressure across multiple theaters. Reuters reported earlier this month that the conflict widened sharply as U.S. and Israeli forces struck targets across Iran, prompting Iranian retaliatory action around the Gulf and beyond. In that environment, bases, airfields, logistics corridors, and support nodes have all become part of a much larger strategic map. That is why a rocket strike in Baghdad cannot be viewed in isolation. Even before this latest incident, there had already been signs that the pressure on U.S.-linked facilities in Iraq and Syria was building again. Reuters reported on March 23 that at least 7 rockets were launched from Iraq's Rabia area toward a U.S. military base in northeastern Syria, the first such attack of that kind since the start of the U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran. That was a warning shot in strategic terms. It showed that the Iraq-Syria corridor was once again active as a pressure point. And Monday's strike near Baghdad now adds a second message. Even the capital's most secured air and diplomatic zone is not off limits. There is another reason this story is gaining so much traction online. The phrase safest U.S. base is emotionally powerful, but it is also misleading. There is no official U.S. designation describing the Mohammed Allah Air Base or the Baghdad Airport Complex as America's safest position in Iraq. What exists instead is a perception that areas near Baghdad Airport, especially those linked to major state and diplomatic infrastructure, are among the most tightly protected zones in the country. That perception has now taken another visible hit. And perception matters in conflict almost as much as physical damage. If an aircraft burns on the tarmac inside a highly sensitive airport military zone, the image itself becomes strategic. It raises immediate questions. Was the defensive system late? Was the launch coordinated from within reach of the capital? Was the intended target Iraqi, American, or simply symbolic? Was this a warning designed to avoid casualties but maximize impact? Or was it a failed attempt at something bigger? At the moment, the public evidence does not fully answer those questions. What we do know is that Iraqi authorities have confirmed the strike, confirmed the destruction of an aircraft, and confirmed no casualties. We also know that the incident happened inside a complex that houses not only Iraqi military infrastructure, but also a U.S. diplomatic support center. And we know the broader security climate is already unstable enough that even a limited rocket incident now carries outsized regional consequences. This is where the military significance becomes more interesting than the dramatic wording. A rocket attack that destroys an aircraft on the ground suggests one of two things. Either the launchers were positioned close enough and timed well enough to exploit a gap in detection and interception, or the target was stationary, exposed, and hit in a way that bypassed the layered defense architecture altogether. In either case, it reveals a problem. Hardened bases are designed to reduce vulnerability, not just by intercepting incoming fire, but by dispersing or sheltering valuable assets.